I have started this letter 4 times. Tacitus wants to know how my uncle died. He is writing his history, and he has come to the year of the mountain, and he needs the death of Gaius Plinius Secundus, commander of the fleet at Misenum, in a form he can put on a page. He has asked me, because I was there. That is the difficulty. I was there for part of it. I am 45 years old. I have been a consul. I have argued before the Senate, and I have learnt exactly how a sentence is built so that it carries a man's weight without ever quite touching the thing he does not want said. And I am about to use all of that on my own uncle. Understand what I am doing at this desk. I am not remembering. Memory is what I had at 20. This is the other thing. The thing you do after 27 years, when the account has been told at dinner parties and the edges have gone smooth, and you have stopped being able to find the place where the truth was. I will write it. I will show you the seams. Here is what I put down. The 24th of August, about the 7th hour. My mother drew his attention to a cloud of unusual size and shape. 6 words on my mother, and then I move on to him, because it is his letter. But I want it noted that she saw it. He was inside. He had been out in the sun, he had taken a cold bath, he had eaten something light, and he was lying down with a book, which is how he spent every hour he was not required to spend otherwise. My mother was the one looking at the sky. He called for his sandals. He went up to high ground to get a better view. Now, the cloud. I wrote that it resembled a pine tree, a great trunk going up and then spreading into branches. I chose that image, and I have never regretted it. It is the correct image. Anyone who has stood under an umbrella pine in Campania knows the shape at once. The long, bare column, and then the flat crown pushed out sideways as if pressed against a ceiling. I wrote that it was white at times and at other times dirty and spotted, according to how much earth and ash it carried up. I did not write that we could not tell which mountain it came from. Actually, I did write that it was discovered afterwards to have been Vesuvius. Afterwards. Note the word. He ordered a fast galley made ready. He was going to sail towards it, because to a man of his learning the thing deserved closer study, and he had spent his life closing the distance to interesting objects. And then he offered to take me with him. Here is what I wrote, in full. He offered to take me with him if I desired to accompany him, but I replied that I preferred to go on with my studies, and it so happened that he had assigned me some writing to do. Read that again. It so happened that he had assigned me some writing to do. That clause is doing an enormous amount of labor. It is there so that the refusal sounds obedient rather than reluctant. It puts the decision back in his hands. A man reading it quickly will come away thinking the boy was under orders. The boy was not under orders. The boy was 17, in my 18th year, as I put it, because 18 sounds nearer to a man, and the boy did not want to get on the boat. I have never known whether that was cowardice or the only correct judgment anyone made that day. Everyone who got on the boat with him is a story I heard second-hand. I am the one who is here, writing this, because I stayed at my desk. Both things are true. I have had 27 years and I cannot get them to stop being true at the same time. He left. I went back to my studies, which is what I had stayed behind to do, and I want you to know that I did it. I had a bath. I dined. I slept badly. There had been tremors for days. Nobody in Campania counts tremors. That night they stopped being ignorable. My mother came into my room and I was already getting up to go and wake her. We sat in the courtyard between the house and the sea, and I called for a volume of Livy and I read it and went on making my extracts, as though I were perfectly at ease. I do not know whether to call that courage or stupidity. I wrote it down exactly that way, and I have left it standing, because it is the one detail in the entire account that I am certain of. A friend of my uncle's, newly arrived from Spain, came out and found us. My mother frightened me reading, and he told her off for her patience and me for my indifference. I did not look up. By the first hour of the day, the light was still weak and the buildings were beginning to shake. We left the town with a crowd behind us that pushed us forward, because a panicking crowd always prefers somebody else's judgment to its own. Beyond the buildings, on perfectly level ground, the carts we had brought began to roll. We wedged them with stones, and they would not stay still, and the sea went out, drawn back on itself. The shore widened. Sea creatures left stranded on dry sand. That is what I remember most exactly. Not the fire. The fish. Then the cloud came down over the bay and took Capri, and took the headland at Misenum, and it was dark. I have tried for 27 years to write that darkness. What I settled on is this: not the dark of a moonless night or a cloudy one, the dark of a sealed room with the lamp put out. You could hear women wailing, children screaming, men shouting, people finding each other by voice alone in the black, calling names, some praying, some saying that there were no gods anymore, that this night was the last one, that the world was ending now, and people inventing fresh terrors on top of the real ones, saying Misenum was burning, which was not true, and being believed. My mother told me to run. She said she was old and slow and would not mind dying if she knew she had not killed me. I took her hand and made her walk faster. That is mine. I was there for that. Now the part I was not there for. My uncle reached Stabia, across the bay. He bathed. He dined. He slept so soundly that the men outside his door could hear him breathing. When the ash rose in the courtyard, they woke him. They tied pillows to their heads against the falling stone and went down to the shore, and he lay on a sheet and asked twice for cold water and drank it. Then he stood up, leaning on 2 slaves, and fell. I wrote that he died because the thick air closed his throat. He was heavy, his breathing was always loud, his stomach was weak. I was not there. Everyone I asked had been running. Physicians who read this will tell me a man of 55, overweight, on a beach, might simply have stopped. Others say the heat came down off that mountain far faster and far hotter than any of us understood. I chose the explanation that let him be a man who stayed too long, rather than a man whose heart gave out early. I am telling you that I chose it. 2 days later, they found him. Untouched, unmarked, dressed as he had been. More like a man asleep than a dead one. I sent Tacitus 2 letters. He used what he wanted. His history of that year is lost. Every word of it. Mine survived. And in all of it, across both letters, I named Vesuvius. I named Misenum, and Stabiae, and Capri. I named Rectina and Pomponianus. I never once wrote the word Pompeii. I never wrote Herculaneum. I was writing about one man. It did not occur to me that anyone would need the cities. They were under there the whole time.